The Sony NEX cameras produce amazing video, especially for being well under $100. In today's video, I'm going to show you the settings that I use personally to get the best possible quality video out of the Sony NEX5 and the NEX5N cameras. So before I get started, go down and like this video and subscribe to my channel. I put a lot of time into these videos and it really helped me out if you did that. So go do that and then let's get right into it. Alright, so we'll top right into the menu here. And we're not going to worry about the shoot mode. We're going to head right over to camera because that's the first settings we're going to change in camera. So go ahead and click on that. And most of these have to do with pictures and we're going to be focusing on video settings today. So I'm going to skip over all these that have to do with just pictures. And also I have a vintage manual lens on here, so a lot of these are kind of grayed out for like tracking and autofocus stuff because there's no autofocus. Right here, histogram. This is something important right here. Always want to select the histogram because it's a really good tool to use to see what's exposed, what's overexposed, what's underexposed. And you can see right in the bottom right corner here. So basically it shows basically the exposure of the whole image, and yeah, if you want to know more about histograms you can look those up. They're really useful. The only thing is when you hit record it goes away, which really sucks, but if you're gonna just have it on a tripod or whatever, steady shot, you can compose it and you know, look at the histogram before you hit record, and then hit record, and you know, just keep everything where it's at. But yeah, histogram is really useful. It just kind of sucks that it goes away when you record. And so it's the first thing, and the rest of this is also just picture stuff. There's really nothing else in this settings page. So we are all set there. We're going to head over to the next one. So if we head over to image size, this one, this is the important one right here. There's the big settings down on the bottom of this one. These first ones are just for pictures. I'm not going to worry about any of these, the quality or the aspect ratio. That's all for images, as well as the panorama and stuff. So we head right down to movie. These are the important ones: file format and record setting. These are the two big ones, the ones to focus on. So file format here, AVC HD is the one you want. As you can see, there's an option for AVC HD or MP4. You do not want MP4. There's only options for like really low resolutions, and you just don't want to use MP4. So just select AVC HD. And don't worry about the like warning, cannot read the Blu-ray or whatever. Don't even worry about that. And let's hop down to record setting now. So this one, there's a bunch of different options to choose from. You might get confused, but there's really only two that you need to worry about, and that is 24p with the 24M and then the 60p 28M. And so that's megabits per second, the 28 and the 24. It's basically the bit rate of it. So those are the only two you need to really focus on. The 60i is interlaced, don't even worry about that. And then the lower bit rate of the 24p, don't worry about that either. Just focus on this 24p and the 60p, and that's 24 frames a second and 60 frames a second at 1080p. So 24 frames a second is what's going to get you the good cinematic look for just regular videos, and then 60p is 60 frames a second, and that'll get you good slow motion and nice smooth footage. So 24p is what you're going to focus on most of the time. That's what I shoot and edit all my videos in. That's what movies are filmed in, 24 fps. So right there, 24p, 24 megabits per second. And that does it for image size. So now we're going to head over to brightness and color, and this one's got a couple things to change and focus on in here. So first things first, don't worry about exposure comp, and head down to ISO. So ISO is really important. Always keep it as low as you possibly can. Now the lower the ISO, the darker the image is going to be. Higher ISO, the brighter. But also the higher ISO is, the more noise and the blurrier kind of the image is going to look, so to speak. So keep that as low as you possibly can. Always 100 or 200 is really the best. If you need to go to 400 or 800, you can, but always just try to keep it as low as you can. Because again, the higher you go, the more noise and grain is going to be in the image, and the worse it's going to look. So 100 is always the one you want to be at if you can. And then down below that, we've got white balance. You can manually adjust this. I usually keep it on auto because it usually does a pretty good job in automatic. But of course, you can change it to all these different settings or do a custom white balance. but I usually just keep it in auto. It usually works fine. So right below the white balance, we got metering mode right here. I keep that on multi. You can choose center or spot, and that's basically going to choose like a certain part of the image, like the center, whatever, to find kind of the settings for the brightness and all that stuff. So I keep that at multi. It just kind of looks at the whole image rather than just one part of it to figure out what it needs to figure out. So here we got creative style. That's the next one, and I usually have this at standard, but then I set the saturation and contrast and the sharpness down just a little bit so that I can change it more in post to bring a flatter image, and in post-production I can bring it all up and match it with my A7 III footage. So I usually bring that down so it's just more of a flat image. Obviously you can just use it as standard and it's going to be fine, but I just bring those down a little bit so I can adjust it in post better. But it's up to you. I usually just use standard, and the rest is all set. So that does it for brightness and color. Playback, don't worry about that either. That's just for like playing back the stuff. There's nothing really to change in there. And then setup is next. So if we head into setup, the autofocus illuminator, that basically is just like a light on the front of the camera that light up when it's autofocusing. I usually just set it auto or off. It doesn't really matter. It's just a little light in the front of the camera. Usually I have it off. And then if we go down, don't worry about any of that stuff. Don't worry about that. Auto review, that's for pictures as well. And then right here, grid line. I set this on rule of thirds grid. If you don't know what the rule of thirds is, you can look that up as well. It's kind of just like for framing shots and framing stuff up in the shot. Basically, it's like just lines on the screen to use for better framing. So if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. And so here we go, peaking level. I keep this on high. This is basically for when you're manually focusing. It'll show what's in focus by outlining it in dots, and I choose red for the color. You can choose different colors for it. It basically will just show you what's in focus and help you out with focusing. And then down here, manual focus assist. This basically zooms in on the image while you're focusing and to help you get better focus. I usually keep that off because I don't really like how it zooms in so much on the image. But if you'd like it to zoom in on the image while you're focusing to help you get tack sharp focus, you can turn that on. And then if we head down here, color space, just keep that at sRGB. Steady shot, that'll usually be automatic when there's a lens with steady shot. I have a vintage lens that doesn't have steady shot. That's basically just stabilization. Don't worry about this stuff. This stuff doesn't really matter. It's mostly for pictures. So if we go down here, movie audio recording, I'm going to keep that on. Basically, it's just if it records audio, I keep it on to record audio, off to not record audio. I usually keep it on, so if I'm syncing up, audio from a microphone and post or whatever, just I have that audio in the camera, just a scratch audio. So I keep that on, and then wind noise reduction off because it can kind of mess up the sound sometimes, so I just keep that off. Even though it doesn't have that good of mics built in anyways, it's just good scratch audio to help match in post or whatever. Down here, none of this stuff really matters. This is just menu settings, touch operation, if it beeps when you press stuff or turn on or whatever. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Power save, I keep that at 5 minutes. Right here, LCD brightness. I keep this at sunny weather just so the LCD is as bright as it can get, just so I can see it really well, especially, outside or wherever I'm filming, I can see it well to frame my shots. Display color, you can change that, whatever you want. Pink, blue, white, black, doesn't matter. I just keep it at black, it's nice and simple. And the rest are going to be mostly for pictures or for HDMI resolution. That's nothing to really worry about. And the rest are just nothing to really worry about for video or for video quality stuff. I've got here like cleaning the sensor and stuff, it's always good. Down here, memory card tools, that's to format the memory card. I keep the file number in series and folder name date form. And that's the end of the that page right there. So that actually wraps it up for all the settings for video with the NEX5N. That's all the settings to change to get the best quality video out of this. It really is a great camera. You can get some awesome footage out of it. 1080p, 24 and 60 frames a second. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. But that's the settings I use. That's how I get the best quality out of this camera, and how you can too. So thank you so much. And let's head out of the menu. So there we go. Those are the settings I use on my NEX 5N camera to get the best quality footage. It really amazes me how little known these cameras are. When everybody uses A6000s, A5100s, you know, everybody's into those. When these cameras are just little hidden gems, they barely sell for anything on eBay, so you can pick them up for dirt cheap, and they record amazing videos. So definitely go pick one of these up and check out my other videos about the NEX 5N. I have a video about the NEX 3, you can go check that out. And make sure you subscribe and like this video. And stay tuned for more videos about this camera and more Sony NEX cameras in the future. So yeah, subscribe for that. And thanks for watching. See ya.